Wow, oh wow, do we have a lot to talk about, everybody. The Rams are going to the Super Bowl. The Los Angeles Rams go into New Orleans and they take the game 26-23 in overtime. But this one will definitely go down as one of the most controversial games in NFL history, especially if the Rams go on to win the Super Bowl. It already will be. First off, I do want to give the Rams some credit. Yes, some things went their way, but still being able to lead that drive in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter to get the field goal to send it into overtime, and for Legatron to force, well, also to force the interception on Drew Brees in overtime, and for Legatron Greg Zuerlein to hit the 57-yarder to send them to the Super Bowl. But this game feels like it's going to be known for one thing, and that is the missed pass interference call on third down for the Saints with under 2 minutes left in a tie 2020 game. This is a blatant missed call. So say the announcers, so say the rules experts, and everybody on Twitter. Just a really blatantly missed call, and I'm usually one that defends a lot of the referees. It does feel like there have been a lot of controversial blown calls this year, and this one comes at just about the worst possible time for the league, really deciding who gets to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. Obviously, both of these teams are great and Super Bowl worthy teams. The Saints had this one early 13-0, and the Rams did well to pull it back into within range. But this game should have been over. With the pass interference called, the Saints should have been able to, just run the ball or kneel it or whatever all the way down and get the ball and kick a field goal in the final seconds, really, to end this game. But instead, no call. The Saints are forced to kick a field goal, and the Rams are kept alive, and the Rams go down, and they force overtime, and they win the game in overtime, even when the Saints got first possession in that overtime period. This is a really hard one for me. I feel really bad for Drew Brees. I thought, I would have loved to see Drew Brees get another shot at this one. I think the Rams are going to have a few chances to win Super Bowls and make it to the Super Bowl over the next decade. But really, time running out on the Drew Brees era, and I would have loved to see him get back in this game again. What makes this difficult is, obviously, what are we going to do about, official review? Because a lot of people after this game are no doubt going to say it's time to expand review. It's not as easy as that, however. When you talk about expanding review, obviously, yes, they, kind of like how the NBA in close late game situations can go to the official replay booth. If there was a similar thing like that for the NFL, they would have called pass interference for sure, but there's a lot of things to consider with that. Of course, pace of play. You don't want football games to take 5 hours. Always got to be conscious of keeping down the pace of play, keep the game moving. And also, how much do you expand it? Do you make it just a final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter thing? Do you make it all game? What kind of plays do you extend it to? What kind of things are allowed? Turnovers obviously are automatically reviewed, but first downs and penalty calls and first downs are things that can be challenged, but penalties are and just like fouls in the NBA, etc., are things that have traditionally never been allowed to be challenged, even if there's kind of a blatant missed call. So if you do go to try to add penalties, when you expand the review, it really opens up a whole can of worms. So I don't think that's going to be the correct solution. But this is definitely something that's going to be talked about for a long time. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on this game. Obviously, congratulations to Sean McVay and Jared Goff and everybody, all Rams fans, players, media, etc., on a fantastic season and a chance to play in the Super Bowl. It should set up a fantastic game regardless of who they're playing against. But really, this one will seem to go down in history for that missed pass interference call. And that's not to say there weren't missed calls on both sides. There was a face mask missed on Jared Goff that could have got the Rams a touchdown. I believe they settled for a field goal. In every single game there are penalties that could go on both sides. So it's kind of I still think it's a bit unfair to say that the Rams stole this game because again they could have had calls go their way early on and that could have changed the outcome of the game as well. But in a really big situation, the NFL refs really blew this one. And it's just not what you like to see for a football fan because you want the best team to advance. And we were in a situation where everyone that watches the game knows that the Saints should have walked out with a win in regulation. So tough to see it end. Tough to see such a great game end in this fashion. But let me know what you guys think about what happened and what the NFL should do, if they should make any changes to address this kind of issue of late game instant replay, maybe something special for the playoffs or not. I'm not really sure. But I've been Connor for Top Level Sports, and I'll see you guys soon. But we still have one more game to go today, Patriots and Chiefs. It should be fantastic. Can't wait to see who plays the Rams in the Super Bowl.